The Battle of the Hürtgen Forest, fought from September 1944 to February 1945, took place along the German-Belgian border as American forces sought to break through German defenses. The strategic goal was to capture key positions, including dams that controlled the flow of the Ruhr River, a vital resource for Germany's industrial heartland. However, the dense forest, steep hills, and narrow paths created significant challenges for both sides, making it difficult to maneuver and deploy large-scale forces. The rugged terrain favored the German defenders, who used their knowledge of the forest to establish well-camouflaged defensive positions. Mines, booby traps, and entrenched bunkers made the American advance slow and costly. The dense foliage also limited visibility, complicating efforts to locate enemy positions and coordinate assaults. This difficult environment turned the battle into a series of grueling infantry engagements, where progress was measured in yards rather than miles. Weather played a critical role throughout the campaign, with rain, snow, and freezing temperatures making life even more difficult for the soldiers on both sides. Roads quickly became impassable due to mud, making it hard to move supplies and reinforcements. Additionally, the harsh conditions led to cases of frostbite and other cold-related injuries, further weakening the fighting strength of the troops. These environmental factors added to the already complex nature of the battle. Despite these difficulties, American forces continued to push forward, determined to break through the German lines. However, progress was slow, and casualties mounted as soldiers faced constant artillery bombardment and sniper fire. The Germans used the forest's natural cover to their advantage, launching ambushes and counterattacks that further stalled the American advance. The combination of difficult terrain and strong German resistance turned the battle into a prolonged and exhausting campaign. In addition to the challenges on the ground, communication problems plagued both sides. The thick forest disrupted radio signals, and runners were often killed or lost in the confusing landscape. This made it difficult for commanders to coordinate their forces, leading to miscommunications and, in some cases, friendly fire incidents. The lack of clear communication added another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. The strategic importance of the battle was centered around the control of the Hürtgen dams, which could have been used by the Germans to flood the surrounding area and slow the Allied advance. As a result, both sides were heavily invested in the outcome, with the Americans determined to secure the dams and prevent any potential flooding. The Germans, on the other hand, were equally determined to hold their positions and delay the Allies as long as possible. The role of artillery was significant during the battle, with both sides using heavy shelling to disrupt enemy movements and weaken defensive positions. However, the dense forest often absorbed much of the impact, reducing the effectiveness of the bombardments. Artillery observers on the American side faced particular challenges, as the thick foliage made it difficult to spot enemy positions and direct fire accurately. Despite these limitations, artillery remained a crucial part of the battle strategy. Logistics were another major challenge for the American forces. The rough terrain and constant German attacks made it difficult to maintain supply lines, and many units faced shortages of food, ammunition, and medical supplies. Resupply missions were often dangerous, as German artillery targeted supply routes, adding to the already significant strain on American resources. The logistical difficulties further complicated the American effort to maintain momentum in the face of stiff resistance. One of the most dangerous aspects of the battle was the presence of German bunkers, which were strategically placed throughout the forest. These fortifications were well constructed and difficult to destroy, often requiring close-quarters combat to clear them. American soldiers had to approach under fire, navigating minefields and booby traps before engaging the German defenders inside. Clearing these bunkers was a slow and hazardous process, contributing to the high number of casualties. As the battle wore on, both sides suffered heavy losses, with neither able to gain a decisive advantage. The difficult terrain and harsh weather conditions sapped the strength of both the attackers and defenders, turning the battle into a war of attrition. Despite their efforts, the American forces found it difficult to achieve their objectives quickly, while the Germans, though heavily outnumbered, managed to hold on for an extended period. In February 1945, after months of fierce fighting, American forces finally managed to capture key positions, including the Hürtgen dams. However, by this time, the broader strategic picture had shifted, and the gains made in the forest were of limited significance compared to other ongoing operations. The battle had nonetheless delayed the Allied advance and inflicted significant casualties on both sides, underscoring the difficulty of fighting in such a challenging environment.